Need the thing. While it's all set out. Okay. Episode 9. So much coffee today.
We allowed to talk about that on podcast, or not really?
Live, not in the... I'd do it on the night.
Rosie, is it catching?
Nah, it's better, isn't it? What? Let's
Don't
start again. Is this a podcast? What is this?
Fuck knows.
Should we start again? Okay.
When can we start drinking?
Welcome back to another After the Mic Drops episode. Chatting around the Powered by People podcast.
Episode number 9?
10?
10?
10. Episode number 10. We've had some awesome guests on the podcast. We've been
We have indeed.
really blessed with some awesome people. Catherine Lightfoot is one of those awesome people.
Yeah, she was amazing. And she was 7 months pregnant. So
by the time
Thanks.
this comes out, congratulations.
yeah, congratulations. But it was fantastic of her to commit that time to us, considering she was so heavily pregnant.
Absolutely. And there was lots of really important topics, right? A lot of stuff about D&I, a lot of stuff about how important or how that is perceived within businesses, and are people just kind of washing over the subject?
Yeah. We talked a little bit about how DE&I can be affected by budgets.
Yeah.
And how serious companies are actually taking DE&I when the markets are tougher and the economy's tougher and budgets get cut, particularly in that people's sphere. How DE&I takes a back seat, but also like you can't just have diversity without inclusion.
Yeah.
How you have to provide an inclusive environment where people feel comfortable, have safe spaces, all that stuff, so that when you do make a conscious effort to increase and improve diversity in the business, that you don't just then have high turnover.
Yeah, of course.
And then also some really interesting stuff. Like I learned a lot in this podcast around the gender pay gap.
Mm-hmm.
But I won't give you all of our learns because you're going to have to listen to the podcast to hear about that stuff. But there was some really cool stuff that she's gone through and experienced with TrueLayer. Particularly, I think they're at that lot size business where you have to publish your gender pay gap. Yeah. Which isn't that big. Again, another learn. I think it's like 200 heads or something, 250.
Yeah.
So she talked a little bit about that, and that TrueLayer maybe the gender pay gap wasn't very kind to them.
Yep.
And that they had to work on that. And actually in the fintech space, it's notoriously quite bad.
I think probably in the tech space in general, like that's a real assumption.
STEM is quite a male-oriented environment, which obviously there are lots of businesses trying to improve on that. But it is a difficult one. I think what she was trying to allude to is actually that it's not you're doing the same job and getting paid different. It's that the reality is the majority of senior people in the business that are higher paid are men. And so that creates a much worse looking gender pay gap. But if you don't understand what the pay gap is, actually what it is holistically, how it's calculated, it can be very misleading.
Yeah, of course.
Because it doesn't actually mean you're doing the same job and getting paid differently.
Yeah.
So, and there are lots of facets and layers to how a gender pay gap is created. So it was really interesting, and I learned a lot. And so I would highly recommend checking that out if that's at all of interest to you.
I mean, if it's not, it should be. Right?
It should be.
Like all of those topics, massively important to business of any size.
100%.
So yeah, lots of really cool things in that podcast. Make sure you listen to it. If you're going to listen to it, then like and subscribe at the same time, and catch you next time.